Sesión número 19. Terrance Roberts, gerente de desarrollo de negocios globales ABS, nos va a presentar la experiencia de ABS en el desarrollo de proyectos FLNG, subrayando el liderazgo de la organización en la certificación y gestión de riesgos para estas unidades flotantes. Bienvenido.
Good afternoon. I wanted to first say thank you to Kenna and to GNL. Quick story, I came to the conference last year for the first time in Cartagena. I actually bumped into Kenna at Gas Tech a couple weeks ago, and she invited me, and here I am. So I'm very happy that I was able to make it, and I'm able to present to you today. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So then my presentation is going to be floating LNG optimization solutions for offshore liquefaction facilities. So, as mentioned earlier, my name is Terrance Roberts. I'm the Global FLNG Manager for ABS, part of the global offshore team based in Houston. So, who is ABS? ABS was founded in 1862. We're a non-for-profit marine classification society. And I'm sure some of you are probably wondering, what is a classification society, Terrance? If you bear with me, I'll get to that towards the end of the presentation. So basically that means that we have no owners, no shareholders. ABS's board of directors are appointed from its membership. ABS members are owners, operators, designers, and builders of ships, offshore units, and associated equipment. ABS as a class society represents industries and helps develop standards related to design, construction, operational maintenance, and decommissioning. And let's talk about our mission. So our mission is to serve the public, the public's interests as well as the needs of our members and clients by promoting the security of life and property and preserving the natural environment. Our vision is safety. Typically, every meeting that we have at ABS starts off with a safety moment. So we take that very seriously. Safety drives us. We're global innovators turning tools and practices into practical solutions to support the industries we serve. So what I'm going to do today is kind of talk to you guys about LNG solutions. This is probably going to be a bit redundant to some of you. This is just kind of going through some of the options. And what I wanted to do is show you some ways to optimize if you have some LNG. So the first thing you see here is going to be just your typical LNG facility that you may see in the Gulf of Mexico. So from our experience, what we see in some of these larger projects where the volume of gas isn't large enough to warrant a large plant, we are saying that a FLNG would be a good way to optimize that. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to go through some of the options. If you don't have gas or if you have issues with port authorities, environmental concerns, or other issues with land administration, such as someone mentioned it earlier, like the Canadian project had issues with the indigenous people. So today I want to walk you through some of the options and talk about the LNG plant. So first, like I said, first one's here. Let's get that. So again, my little, it work. It's supposed to be animation right there. Anyway, but typical plant, ship comes up, do the transformation, and they're off to their final destination. And then next, you'll see the option here to actually move the storage tanks. So with these options, a lot of time what you're seeing is an existing LNG carrier. So you have that tech that's already been in place. So LNG ships have existed for decades. Most of them are converted into storage facilities. So LNG is still produced on shore, but the offshore facilities are stored offshore, I'm sorry. The LNG carrier comes along for the transportation and then off to the final destination. My animation's not working. All right, we're gonna go through that again. All right. Okay, so next, the liquefaction plant is moved to the floating facility. So from here, the gas goes straight to the vessel or the FLNG. It's processed in the modules. All liquefaction equipment is on board. Once it's liquefied, it's also processed. It's also stored out on the facility. This is a known solution that has been done countless times using existing marine technology. So we're just adopting those same principles and putting them on the ship. So this option here, so again, like I said, if you have issues with port traffic, or any issues where the FLNG facility cannot be moored to a dock, whether it be from permitting issues, land related, here you have the option to take the facility out further to the coast where there's more water depth. Let me go ahead and do that now. And from there, you can circumvent some of the obstacles, the navigation hurdles, and other constraints associated with mooring to a jetty or onshore. So that's where you see the liquefaction and the storage. And from there, it's the same process. So I do apologize, guys. It was supposed to be a nice little graphic there. I don't know why it's doing that. So it's throwing me off. And then last, we'll see where the facility is further out offshore or out to sea or the deep sea. And here, it's connected directly to the subsea well. It's the same process from there. The gas is still processed. It's cleaned and it's liquefied and it's ready for transfer. And again, the boat's supposed to show up, pick up the gas, and then go. So again, it's very straightforward. Nothing new there. Just kind of going through some of the options. And this here is just an overview. So the first one you see, like I said, is going to be the onshore. Second will be the option to do your storage offshore, but have liquefaction still onshore. The next will be the full facility moved to a vessel, storage and liquefaction included. And then lastly, like I said, the gas coming straight from the subsea well for a deep sea application. So since these are in the water, they become a marine asset now. And you're dealing with a completely different set of rules and regulations because this is now a marine vessel and it must be regulated as such. A lot of onshore regulations do not apply to marine vessels. So there may be a driver compared to some of the typical onshore facilities. In a few of the panels, we talked about some of the challenges that you have with onshore facilities. So that's one way that you can think about another option for getting your gas. So that may give you regulatory advantages. Just having to meet the traditional marine requirements versus onshore requirements. As mentioned, like I said in some of the presentations, the onshore requirements can be very vigorous. They can take a very long time. So because of that, it's a marine vessel, and that's where ABS comes into play. So, like I said, we're going to talk about classification. So what you see here is just a brief overview of that. So classification basically is a third-party certification in the marine industry. So we actually updated our website, Kenna, so this is going to be not from the slide, but classification is performed by class organizations such as ABS. We're a non-government organization that provides services through the development of standards called rules. These rules form the basis for assessing the design, construction of new vessels, and the integrity of existing vessels and marine structures. Classification addresses the life cycle of a ship or onshore unit for design and decommissioning. So not to be confused with certification, I want to go over the difference between the two. So for one, classification covers the ship or offshore structure as a whole. Certification covers a single piece of equipment. Classification is a lifestyle confirmation of compliance. Certification refers to a time in which the certificate was issued. And then only class societies can class ships or offshore units and other marine structures to their own rules. Certifications can typically be done by different individuals, organizations, or the manufacturers in this case. There we go. So like I said, class is a life cycle activity. I'm not going to go too much into detail into this, but basically this is just showing where we're involved pretty much from feed to decommissioning and then throughout the life cycle with some of our surveys and other things like that. Let's see. So right here, again, this is basically an illustration of the design process and then the role that class plays. So what you see here in the red is their requirements and they're required, and then what you see in green are available for support. So some of you, if you were at Gas Tech a couple weeks ago, we did a few AIP ceremonies with a couple of the EPCs and things like that. So that's a pretty popular, I guess, service, if you want to call it that. And then, like I said, and then of course the red is required. So let's go ahead and go to that. And here we are with the rules. So ABS, we publish these. They're free to download. Feel free to take a picture of the barcode, or I'm happy to send you a copy after if we talk in the lobby. So I want to talk about North America just really quickly and kind of highlight some of the accomplishments that ABS has. So ABS has experience classing LNGs, FPSOs, FLNGs, and working with liquefied gas projects, including nearshore and offshore units. ABS has 40 years standing memorandum of understanding with the U.S. Coast Guard to act on their behalf in different areas related to the marine and offshore industry. ABS is the only classification society to have a designation of authority to approve the U.S. Gulf Coast, authority to approve and survey vessels offshore units on behalf of the Coast Guard. ABS has classed and worked on behalf of the U.S. Coast Guard on 93% of the offshore units in the Gulf of Mexico, giving ABS a deep knowledge and working experience in the implementation of the U.S. Coast Guard's rules. So ABS opened the first Global Sustainability Center in Singapore in April in 2019. And since then, we've expanded to 3 new centers of excellency since July of 2020 to provide more sustainability support to the maritime industry. And then ABS sustainability leads in offshore sustainability initiatives. ABS is the first class society to offer a sustainability notation to allow companies to show their positive strides they are taking in sustainability. So as you see here, ABS has over 37 offices in the U.S. with over 900 employees. And in Latin America, we have a big presence as well, 14 offices with over 600 employees. And then I want to talk about some of the key takeaways here. So ABS is a leader in classing offshore production facilities, which includes not only new builds, but primarily converted vessels with over 100 units in class under construction. ABS assists, assisting construction surveyors wherever shipyards and construction yards are selected. ABS's engineering offices are in the geographical areas where design will be developed, minimizing time zone issues and disruptions. And then throughout the operational phase, put some of those up there. ABS's presence worldwide allows coverage and resources available in the offices of the locations where you're at. ABS has survey offices in all the major shipyards. We have a very large pool of skilled offshore surveyors, and we have a lot of relationship with the regulatory agencies in those areas. So with that being said, ABS can help you throughout the different phases of your project, and we have the expertise and the experience to do so. And that is all I have. So feel free to contact us, catch me out in the hall. I'm happy to talk to you more about ABS, and thank you for your time.